Let's check out some of the big movers from the day. Hey, very good evening to you traders, this is Mark. Welcome to your daily trading video. Well, it's all about the gold or silver today. I don't know why I had to do that. Yeah, listen, gold has just come out of nowhere. It's a massive move. It's the biggest we've had for about a year to the downside. Let's bring it up and stick it on a daily chart. Look at this. It's just a monster move. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. It's a monster move. And I'm looking at the ATR on the day, or the range of the day, and of course, obviously, Brexit gave us a despite the upside, but to the downside, I cannot see a bigger move for a long time. So this is interesting because the media is telling us that it's all about the Fed likely to raise rates earlier on, but the gold has not been responding to this Fed rumor mill for months. Look, it's been sitting in this very relatively narrow range for months, and all of a sudden we break out of it. I think part of the catalyst was that we took out that 1300 level, and that really started kicking in some stops, and some stops probably got triggered, and there were probably just no bids there to soak up that supply. But let's look at some of the levels maybe for tomorrow. I mean, traditionally speaking, statistically speaking, should I say, when you have a big down move that's out of nowhere, the next day you're going to retest the low at least. So the play I always look for is for some sort of pullback to a resistance level and then a retest of the low, and maybe you get a little bit more juice into it, but that's generally the play. Now, the caveat to that is if you look at something like the DAX of the day or some of the other V-shaped reversals we've got, this has not been, over this past few months, very profitable strategy, because it's we just had these V-shaped reversals. Gold may be different because it's not quite as linked to the indices, so I'm still going to be looking for that setup nevertheless. But what I need to do is I need to just look out at where the key levels are. Obviously we've got them here, the sort of cluster of resistance here at 1282. There's a big one here. This is probably the biggest, the earliest, or the soonest one at 1273 here. So we're looking about every $10. It's interesting, isn't it, how you see that sometimes. And we also got a little bit of a pause there at 93. That's kind of interesting when I see patterns like that. So maybe the downside target for us is going to be 63. Ideally, we get a little push-pull back tomorrow. Starts to pause a little bit, then rolls over. I'll take a short, but I'm not going to be too aggressive with it. It's definitely going to be on my radar, but obviously we are on an uptrend on the daily, so I've got to respect that. And it could just be something and nothingness. We've seen this before, violent moves to the downside that are reversed. But if we get up to, let's say we get up to 1300, there may be a little scalp opportunity there. Silver, percentage-wise, was the most brutalized of the lot. It was down almost 5% at one point. Just heavy selling, literally almost all afternoon long, with very small pullbacks. Just starting to bull flag now. But I think gold's my more interesting trade. If that wasn't enough for you, US dollar yen has just broken well out of this trend line. This trend line that we've had in there for a long time. We talked about it in many of the videos, how it's just been bouncing along this 100 level and sort of congesting and coming to a head. Well, we seem to have kind of broken out of that trend now. Technical analysis, traditional technical analysis will have everybody piling in long here. And I'm not saying that's a bad trade, from a technical perspective, maybe there's a lot of juice to it. I just don't trust the yen. I just don't trust that that's not going to fake out on it. But you know what? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and just see what happens. For me, what would be more interesting is if we undo everything today and start to take out those lows again. If we do that, then I'm going to take a short. The likelihood of that obviously is quite slim, but I think for me that's the better trade. Or, if we do start seeing some upside and a little bit of a pause that just consolidates a bit, and maybe then there's a second trade in it. But I don't really want to chase it today or tomorrow to the upside, given how volatile the yen has been. One thing also to add is we've got non-farm payrolls on Friday. That has been up and down. But interestingly, this is still in a very tight range. Well, I say in a tight range. Actually, the daily range of it is higher than we've had for a long time. But in terms that we haven't had any range expansion, we're sort of getting this wedge pattern now, and it looks like it's building up to Friday non-farm payrolls. So, for interestingly, Deutsche Bank has not really been on the cards today. Not much news from that. That's continued a little bit, but it's all been about the gold, and about the yen. Interesting, I really think that we're due some monster moves soon. We're starting to get them. They're starting to just come out of nowhere, and the media's putting the label on as to what's caused it and what hasn't caused it. I don't buy that. I think there's a bigger underlying current of something going on here. So definitely going to keep an eye on gold tomorrow. Definitely going to keep an eye on yen, and obviously the usual indices as well. But lots of stuff going on. And lots of opportunity to be patient and wait for the right trade. Because there's good volatility, the advantage of that is you can wait for your level, whether you are getting involved in the breakout or whether you are looking for a reversal, whatever it may be. You have got the opportunity to be patient now and select the type of trade that you want, which is a great environment for traders. Anyway, I hope you had a great trading day today, guys. Back with another video tomorrow. Take care.